Good evening and welcome back to the Laser Sports Update. I'm Taylor Viles. The fall season has wrapped up since our last segment and the basketball seasons are underway. Before we get into how they have been faring in their first few games of the season, here is how each LaSalle team finished out this fall. The men's cross country team made it to the NCAA Regional Championship meet on Saturday, where their season ended after finishing 52nd out of the 54 teams. The men's soccer team almost pulled off a huge upset against the number 1 ranked Johnson & Wales in the first round, losing in a shootout for a final score of 2-1. The field hockey team made it all the way to the GNAC Championships, where they were unable to knock off the number 1 ranked St. Joseph's of Maine. It was their third straight year that they made it into that game. The 5th-seeded women's soccer team came into the first round of the playoffs and knocked off their first opponent, Suffolk, in an OT thriller, but lost in the following round. The women's volleyball team squeaked into the playoff spot, but it wasn't enough to match the powerhouse that is Johnson & Wales in the first round. No matter how each of the seasons ended, LaSalle's teams this fall provided a high level of entertainment, and we look forward to cheering them on next year. Now, back to the ongoing basketball season. The women's team is on fire to begin the year. 3 games in, they have posted 3-0 lopsided victories. The closest the team has come was their most recent game where the Lasers overtook Northern Vermont Johnson by 16 points. As expected, Amanda Ortiz has carried the team thus far, averaging a double-double 3 games in, with 21 points per game along with 10.3 rebounds per game. LaSalle is one of just 3 teams undefeated in the GNAC. Once they start playing division foes, the Lasers will be put to the test. Turning the table to the men's team, they have not fared so well in the first few games, getting off to an 0-3 start. Their opponents have been tough, but their main area of concern has been their first half plus-minus of -50. Well, in the second half, it's only -8. If they can bring their second half energy a little earlier into the game, they could give any team a run for their money. Here are the highlights from an opening night against Fitchburg State filled with action. Kevin Vanderhorst is on fire to begin the season with a team-high 19 points per game to go along with 9.7 rebounds per game. The junior is playing in just his first season with the Lasers, but proving to be a needed jolt to the offense. Now it's time for the 3 stars of the week. Since there are only 2 active teams this winter, my idea is that I'll be taking the top player from the men's and the women's basketball teams and breaking down their weeks. To make up for the missing star, I'll be incorporating an unsung hero into each sports update. The number 2 star of the week is the aforementioned Kevin Vanderhorst, who recorded 32 points in the Lasers home opener. The Lasers expect a very strong season from him. The number 1 star this week is Amanda Ortiz, who scored 23 points for the Lasers in their second win of the season. During the game, she converted on 9 out of the 10 free throws she attempted. And our unsung hero this week is women's basketball forward sophomore Mac Burrows, who has made the most of her playing time by contributing on the defensive side of the court, picking up 2.7 rebounds per game while playing in just 5 minutes per game off the bench. This week, make sure to follow the women's team as they head 30 minutes north to Nashua, New Hampshire to compete in a 2-day tournament against the NAC. Those games are on Friday and Saturday. Also on Saturday, the men's team is at LaSalle looking for their first win of the season, home against MIT. Tip-off is at 3 p.m. That'll do it for today's episode of Laser Sports Update. I'll be back right here in 2 weeks. We'll see you then. Go Lasers!